guys, it's time for us to talk about our beloved Gregory Popovich. So as you know, I've been on record saying that I don't think Greg Popovich will be back, right? And I also said that I believe that the Spurs should treat Greg Popovich the same way that Greg Popovich treats his players, and out of love. And a lot of times with his players, if they're injured, if they can't go, if they're sick, Popovich will protect you from yourself. And I'm just a little worried about Popovich potentially coming back. The fan side of me definitely wants Popovich back. The human side of me is like, I just want him to be okay. Now, people have brought up in the chat multitude of times, so I've seen it. I've seen the comments too. People say, well, Clan, a lot of times, when you get a little bit older, sometimes just doing your job will keep you, healthy or whatnot. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. So I'm sympathetic to both sides of the argument, right? It's just how I personally feel. Like, I want Popovich back as much as anybody, but I just care more about the person, right? Because Popovich seems like a really cool person. So yeah, that's where I stand, but you don't care about where I stand. You want to know what's about to happen. So this is the statement, and I'm sure you guys read it already, that Greg Popovich released today, and basically stating he will not be back this season, right? A lot of people speculated that maybe he will be back sometime in February. Doesn't seem like that's the case, right? He said, I've decided not to return to the sidelines this season. Mitch Johnson and his staff have done a wonderful job. I don't know why you added that part. In the resolve and professionalism the players have shown, sticking together during a challenging season has been outstanding. I will continue to focus on my health with the hope that I can return to coaching in the future. So obviously Popovich still wants to come back, which is great. I'm glad that he still has that passion, right? And if I could see the future, guys, and everything is fine and he's completely healthy in the future and he's a coach for 5 more years or whatnot, I'll take it. But nothing's guaranteed, and I understand that. But that's just where I stand. Like, I want him back, but I want him to be okay first and foremost. But so it seems like Popovich is going to attempt to come back, but Shams posted this. Okay, so Shams posted this. He says, San Antonio Spurs Hall of Fame coach Greg Popovich is not expected to return this season, and his future is uncertain as he recovers from the mild stroke suffered in November. So while there's some optimism in this statement, it seems like it is very unsure. It's uncertain. Now this is the part where I start to wonder, like, is Popovich saying goodbye on the low? I don't know. So Greg Popovich held an emotional in-person meeting today with the Spurs players, who were all able to see him for the first time since his stroke in November. Sources tell ESPN Popovich will not return as coach this season, and his NBA future remains uncertain as he recovers. So we're just still kind of waiting back and seeing. I can imagine that this will be very emotional, right, for him to finally see them and talk with them. I just hope the man's okay. I just hope the old man's okay. Really, truly. Those are my only thoughts about it. There's nothing really to add to this. I've seen quite a few people bring up like who they would like to see as head coach next. And obviously, as the Spurs do with many things, which is the reason why we've been successful for so long, they're going to be a little patient, right? They're going to kind of sit back, see what the situation is with Pop. They're not going to immediately say, okay, we're going to go ahead and replace Pop. They want it to be Pop's decision. And we all really do want it to be Pop's decision. All right, let's be honest. So they're going to wait and see. But I've seen quite a few names go around. Like, people say Mike Brown. I'm not too keen on that. Somebody said D'Antoni, and I don't like that, right? I'm not a fan of D'Antoni. Becky Hammon. Obviously, everybody will want Becky Hammon. I want Messina, but people have told me that they don't actually like Messina as a coach over in Europe. But hey, I just know Messina for what he did with the Spurs and those times that Popovich was out, and he was pretty great. Like, he seemed pretty innovative, and I think that's something that the Spurs definitely need. Innovation when you have somebody as special and different as Wemby, right? Popovich was that. He's an innovator. So I'm hoping that we could just have a coach that, can get a little bit creative. Tim Duncan as a coach? No, chat, come on. Tim Duncan is a horrible coach. He was a horrible coach when he was here. He didn't even want to coach. He didn't even like it. He didn't even enjoy it. You got to at least like it. You got to at least enjoy it a little bit. He didn't even like it. I just hope we still going to see Pop often, even if he retired. Spurs for life. We're going to see. Pop is going to be around, okay? Pop is going to be around. Wemby will need a voice in who our next head coach is if you want him to stay. Wemby will have a huge say-so in whether or not a coach stays. I mean, just like any player, right? Any superstar talent has a huge say on who coaches them. But at the same time, Wemby truly does. This isn't a cop-out, I promise. I really do believe this. All the evidence shows it. Wemby really does trust the San Antonio Spurs. And I feel like just about anyone that they bring to his attention, he's probably going to agree, right? It was the same thing with De'Aaron Fox, right? Like, he agreed to that. It was the same thing with Steph Castle. He agreed to that. He's going to trust the San Antonio Spurs. He just is, right? They both have the same goal in mind. And we don't have one of those franchises where the owners want one thing, but then the coaches want another thing, and then the players want something, and they're in it for themselves. It's not really like that. Like the Spurs, it seems like everyone is on the same page of, we want to win, we want a dynasty, we want to be great for a very long time. So great basketball minds are just going to align anyways. So he'll agree more than likely, whatever the Spurs have to say. But anyways, we're considering that Wemby isn't even playing, so why would Tony Parker be at the away games? He's a Spurs fan. Trust can only go so far, though. If we're not competing in the next 2 years, he'll be unrestricted free. Calm down. First off, they will be in the next 2 years. I mean, they will be. It'll be too much talent at that point, but I don't know. Just saying that he's not going to trust the front. I just don't believe that. It takes quite a while usually for teams to rebuild. First and foremost, like at least, what would you guys say for a rebuild? I mean, certain teams, a lot of franchises, is taking 40 years now. I mean, let's be real. But typically, like 5-6 years to do a rebuild, maybe 7-ish years to do a rebuild. The Spurs are far ahead of schedule, I think. I mean, they have all their draft picks in line. And at this point, they're making all the right moves. And one thing that's cool about Wemby is because he does trust the franchise so much and he does agree with the decisions that they've made, he really is putting it on himself oftentimes. The only time in which I thought that Wemby was slightly putting it off on someone else, which rightfully so he should have, was when he was talking about the Spurs not making good decisions at the end of games, right? Like he said that we're not adjusting during these games. And it was obvious that he was talking about him. He said, I'm talking about myself. He was talking about himself, but he was also talking about the coaching staff. But yeah, with the generation of talent that lives up to the hype, 3 to 4 years. Okay, who are you talking about? Like, who do you have in mind right now that bounced after 3 years? Like, who are we talking about? I really hate it when someone acting like we've been sucking for past 30 years. Like, chill, this is Wemby's second year. That's my thing too. That's my thing too. It's not that big a deal. Like the Spurs, the one thing that's on our side, okay? Let me say this. The one thing that's on the Spurs side is that this is not 1998, okay? The Spurs have shown continuously that they are able to build up talent and win multiple championships and win a lot of games. When you have that already set in stone and that culture set in stone, and a lot of players that go to San Antonio that have been with other teams say that San Antonio is completely different, like it's a whole nother beast, like how Harrison Barnes was telling De'Aaron Fox, like, dude, you really want to be in San Antonio, right? It's because there's a certain culture there that's established, and players know that. So that's not me saying that Wemby's in the bag and we can just do whatever we want and we'll be okay and he'll be here no matter what. No, I don't believe that. And also, I'm a Cowboys fan. All right, I want Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott. I want Dak Prescott to leave. I don't want him to be with the Cowboys franchise because he's never going to win a championship with them. And that's how I feel about it. But I don't feel that way with the Spurs. But you have this history, and not that distant history, of winning multiple championships. The people that were involved in that championship are still in the team. That front office is still pretty intact. A lot of them got promotions, still intact, right? Still a big part of what the Spurs do and the way that they go about things. The culture is still very much so alive. So when a player like Wemby comes to this franchise and he sees how well they got it together, he's going to make sure that he puts some of the responsibility on himself as well, right? So I'm not really worried about, oh, is he going to leave after this amount of years? Like, we're jumping the gun a little bit. As the chatter said, it's only his second year. It's not that big a deal. And he didn't even get to finish his second year. Like, he played a season and a half, and we're talking about, well, we better get it together. The Spurs will get it together. They've shown that they can get it together. They'll be fine. We just need more talent. We'll be okay. Just look how competent we are as far as draft picks and these trades that we made. I mean, we fleece teams left and right. That is not normal. That is not a normal thing, right? So, anyways, I hope Pop's okay. What did you last say? I feel like they would definitely have options to offer Wemby before Pop leaves. What do you mean, coaches? Hey, Clan, if you could have anyone join forces with us, who would you choose? Anyone? Oh, player? Like any player? Luka Doncic. Player-wise, Luka Doncic. Easy. Yeah. Give me Luka. You give me Luka Doncic, that's championship. I'm cool with Becky Hammond being a top choice if she wanted to come to the NBA. Always want to know your answer? Yeah, that's my answer. Luka. Luka's awesome. Cowboys won't win past the first round until Jerry dies, and I'm a diehard Boys fan. It just is what it is, man. That is true. Fox would probably get surgery in his finger after getting a W in San Antonio. Wait, what do you mean after getting a W? Didn't he already win? We already won a game with Fox. Are you gaslighting me right now? Didn't we win our first game? We won our first game with Fox. That was in Austin? Oh, in San Antonio. Oh, okay. I think he means the city. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, he means playing in San. Yeah. All right. Anyways, this is the news. So some pretty big news. And I just hope Pop's okay.